Today what we're doing is we're reviewing for the test that we're about to take over Unit 1. Okay? It's going to include substitution and all your properties, and you're going to need to know how to do integers with your substitution, so make sure that you can do this, understand what's going on. So first thing we're going to do is I put up eight different problems up here, and I want you to be able to identify which property goes with which one. So what I want you to do before you move forward is I want you to pause the video. I want you to see if you can identify each one of these, and then I'm going to go through here in just a second, and I'm going to identify each one of them for you. But please take time, actually identify them, and make sure that you can do that. Okay? So at this point, we're going to identify each one of these. Okay? So starting with number 1, x plus 2 in parentheses times 3 equals parentheses 2 plus x parentheses times 3. Now at first glance this kind of looks like associative property, but when you really take a closer look at it, you'll notice all they do is switch these two things. That's the order, okay? That's commutative property. And specifically it's commutative property of addition because it's this addition problem right here that is actually switching. So commutative property of addition, okay? So if you got that right, great, okay? Make sure you're paying attention. If not, make sure you're looking at the right things. Now when you take a look at number 2, parentheses x plus 2 parentheses plus 3 equals x plus parentheses 2 plus 3 parentheses, okay? Now here we're grouping, we've regrouped this, okay? And our property that regroups is our associative property, it's who you associate with. So this is associative of, and now all we're doing is looking to see which operation we're doing. Of addition, okay? Now take a look at this one, x plus 0 equals x. Okay, we got back the same identity that we put in, the x, okay? So this is our identity property of operation, addition, of addition. All right, so these, I'm hoping that by now, these right here are pretty easy. We're going to take a look at this one. We have 2 parentheses x plus 3 parentheses, okay, equals, and now what they've done is they said, oh, we can multiply this 2 times the x, the 2 times the 3, and it'll be the same thing. So 2 times x plus 2 times 3, this is our distributive property, okay? Distributed, okay? Distributive property. Remember, distributed is about multiplying each term inside of those parentheses. In terms are separated by addition or subtraction. Okay, so pay attention to that. All right, watch those. All right, number 5. Okay, 2 times a times b is the same as a times b times 2. This is order. Okay, ordering. We've just switched the ordering. So this is just like this one over here. That's the commutative property of, instead of addition, multiplication. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Now here we have 2 times 1 equals 2. We got the same identity back. We got that same number back. So this is our identity property. But instead of addition, now it's multiplication of multiplication. You're going to have to be able to distinguish the difference between identity property of multiplication, identity property of addition, but at this point you should be able to do that. Okay? Now, x times 0 equals 0. Okay, we got back the 0. That's our 0 property. 0 property. Remember, that's only good with multiplication. 0 property of multiplication. All right. Number 8. And at this point we only have one left. Okay, 2 times x in parentheses times 3 equals 2 parentheses x times 3 parentheses, associative property of multiplication. Now remember, when when you're dealing with these things, these don't work with subtraction or division, okay? So when you're looking at these things, and if they reorder something with subtraction in it, you can't do that. Those don't work with the associative commutative properties, okay? So pay attention to that. Make sure you understand what's actually going on inside those problems, all right? These don't work with subtraction or division. Okay, now we're going to take a look at this. Okay, you're going to have a problem very similar to this. Okay, the wording here is going to be very similar. Remember when we did the equivalent problems? Okay, this is what this is looking for. Okay, which is equivalent to the expression using the associative property. Now it's telling you which property has to be used. So if it's using a different property, even though they may be the same, it's got to use the associative property. So it's being very specific on what you're looking for. Okay? So then they give you this problem. X plus parenthesis y plus 2 parenthesis. Okay? But we want the associative property. Now we're looking, this is all addition, so we know it's going to be an addition problem. Well, associative property regroups, but does not reorder. Okay? Reordering is your commutative property. This is associative. Okay? Pay attention. All right? So I'm looking to move these parentheses over and regroup. So let's take a look at A. Okay? Well, they move the parentheses, but is that the only thing that they do? Okay? They do parentheses y plus x parentheses plus 2. They move the parentheses all right, but what did they do? They reordered, so they used the associative and the commutative property. So this one doesn't work. Okay? So that's a no-go. Okay? Doesn't work. Okay? What about this one? Well, x plus parentheses 2 plus y parentheses. Well, they didn't move those parentheses over, so they didn't regroup, but they did reorder. That's commutative property. That one doesn't work for us either. Okay? Come down here to C, parentheses x plus y parentheses. Okay, so we regrouped plus 2. Is that the only thing that we did? Okay, the problem looks almost exactly, except for now all we did was we moved those parentheses. There we go. That's the one we're looking for, right? We're looking for the one that just uses the associative property, and that's it. That works good for us. Okay? Down here, well, they reordered the problem. Okay? So that's commutative property too. Okay? So that's not what we're looking for. Okay? Pay attention to what's going on. All right, so now substitution. Remember, substitution is just taking that number and putting it in place for that variable. That's all we're really doing. And then we're simplifying the problem. Okay? So here they have 2xy. Now what is really happening here is when you have a number directly up against a variable, that's multiplication. Or when you have a variable directly up against a variable, that's multiplication. So we got 2 times x times y. That's what's really going on here. So we're going to take these and put them in place of these variables, because x equals 2 and y equals -1. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to substitute. But when I do this, I'm going to make sure to still show my multiplication. Okay? A lot of you guys were getting hung up on the Get More Math questions that had look like this, because when you plug that in, you weren't showing that that was multiplication. Make sure you do that. So 2 times 2 times -1. That's one way that you could write this. The other way that you could write this is this. 2 times 2 times -1. Okay, and I put that in parentheses so that it didn't look like I was accidentally subtracting. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. 2 times 2, 4 times -1. 4 times -1, our sign rules. A positive times a negative gets me a -4. Okay? I can do the same thing here, but it's the exact same problem, so it should be the same. All right, number 11. 3y minus -8 if y equals 2. Okay? The only reason that they put the parentheses here was to separate these out so that you would see them. Okay? So pay attention. All right, we're gonna take the 2, substitute it in for the y, but remember, a number directly against a variable, multiplication. So 3 times 2 minus negative 8, okay? Orders of operations, grouping symbols first, but there's nothing inside there. Then exponents, there is no exponent. Watch out because there are on your test, so pay attention to those, okay? Then multiplication or division from left to right. Well, from left to right, there's my first multiplication problem. We're going to do that. 6 minus negative 8, okay? Then addition or subtraction from left to right. Come into this. We see 6 minus negative 8. We're going to turn everything into an addition problem. Remember your integer rules, okay? When you have subtraction, you're going to add its additive inverse, okay? Or change that to addition and change the sign of the number following, okay? So come in here, click, click, 2 marks. Now I have 6 plus 8, 14. They're both positive, therefore it's positive, and you're off and running. Guys, this is what you need to know in order to be successful on the test that we got coming up. If you are struggling with anything on here, contact me, let me know, okay? Make sure you get on Get More Math, do a whole bunch of mixed review, and you'll be good to go.